Hello, all you fiends out there. Welcome to the Creature Comforts channel. This is what I'm calling my pirate ship spool of rope container. It's got its own lid. So come along for the ride and see how I do this. My thoughts on the design of this container are, what would you see on a pirate ship? You'd see spools of rope that they would use for tying their sails, tying the ship up, tying their prisoners up, and that was my thought process in making this container. So it looks like a spool of rope just kind of sitting there for my pirate area. So let's get started. I've got this candy fluff container. It's made for cotton candy. I got it in my local theater when I went to the movies. And I'm going to use this to make another piratey container just to go in my pirate section. It has a top on it that's pressed to steel. I figured out a way to make it look like it's part of my pirate scene. The first thing we're going to do is we're going to paint the top of this. Some spray paint. I got some dollar store spray paint here. Just a flat black. We're going to paint the top and the bottom. The rest of it's all going to be covered up. So I'll do a little bit of this inside and then it may take a couple of coats because it's clear. But we're going to paint the top of this and the bottom. I'll come right back when we're finished doing that. Painted the top and bottom of it. Doesn't have to be solid. I'm not going to make mine solid. I'm not going to wait for the paint to dry. Top's still got a little bit of wetness to it. We'll work on the bottom first. Let that dry. Now what I'm planning on doing here is making this look like it's almost like a pile of rope sitting on the ship. We're going to start at the bottom. Takes a little bit of forever to cool. I just wanted a dark center in the middle of the rope so you can't see inside to see what's going on inside the container. Yeah, we just want to make it look like it's a pile or a ream of rope just kind of sitting on the ship. Figured I'd use up some of my scraps that are just kind of sitting around to do the top and bottom. Kind of helps that this is all sitting kind of flat. Once you get going on it, it seems to hold a little bit better that way. Now we're going to make our transition around the edge. May take a little longer to cool. Uses a bit of glue just because of the size of the jute or rope. All right, I think we'll come back. I'm gonna finish it up to the sides, and we'll see where we go from there. Alrighty, what this is it's a 3/8 manila rope. I got this at Home Depot. It's Everbuilt. Kind of pokey stuff. Once you flame it, when you're done, it's not quite so pokey. Does make the container quite a bit heavier. But I've used up my scraps, and now I'm going to continue on with, well, I haven't used up all my scraps, but going to continue on with one of the rolls I got. And when I continue on, I just sop the extra end of the rope, and then kind of shove the other end right into it, and maybe with your finger a little bit, as long as it doesn't burn you too much. Just kind of seam it in there. It's not the best seam, but, and this is actually what I'm trying to convey, almost like a rope sitting there. It's going to be a little more perfect because it's a container, but we'll see if we can do some things to make it look not quite so perfect. I figure back in the pirate days, they didn't have chains to do their anchor. Well, they may have, but they carried a bunch of rope on the ship. Be a lot bigger rope than this, but I didn't do a history lesson on it, but I know they carried rope on the ship. For other things. And that's why I give that little hole look to it at the top, at the bottom. And I'll continue on with this and show you when I finish up to the edge. Now we're getting kind of close to the top up here. I don't want this to be on here, so I'm going to clip that off. I'm going to use my trimmers. I didn't do it at first because I didn't want it to be so flexy when I'm trying to wrap it. Basically, I just go down and get it flat to the plastic, and there's little ribs in here, little ribs along there. I'm trimming up all those ribs first, and then I'm going to come back and I'm going to cut through here and then just trim it right off, all the edges of it off. I'm not sure if you would be able to find the same container or not, but this is what I'm doing with this one. And that way I don't get a step out there, and also it's not so flimsy when I'm trying to wrap it, because I have trimmed one of these off before. It's not that big a deal, but I'll move on with that, trim it all off, and show you when I come back. Alrighty, I've got it all trimmed off. Now we're gonna move on with the gluing. That just holds this stiffer so it doesn't flex as much, waiting to cut it off till then. It was a pain in the butt, but I got it. I'll continue on and get it up to the level and come back and show you. Okay, we got this all done, and it's considerably heavier with the rope on it. Now when I'm doing this, because the rope itself sways up, this may or may not squeeze on. That's not a big deal. The edge in there will help hold it on so it doesn't just fall off. So now we're going to do the top. Basically it secures it in place. Doesn't have to snap down because I'm not putting goods in there that'll spoil or anything like that. Now we will start with the top, and I want to see the circular, how big of a edge, how big of a hole I had in it. So we'll try and get it close. It doesn't have to be exact because you're not going to see both at the same time. This takes a bit of glue. I don't know how many sticks I've went through, quite a few. Hot glue is pretty cheap. I'll continue on with the lid and figure out what we're going to do around the edges of it, and I'll come back. Alrighty, I got it off a little off center, so what I'm doing is I'm taking an extra piece of jute and I'm putting it in here, and then I'm going to cover up the ends as I go around, almost like it's piled on top of each other, and then we'll get it close to being even. I'm going to see if I can roll it right around the edge, just to give them a more rounded edge. And then if the top just sits on top of it, it's fine. Like I said, it doesn't have to squeeze down and seal. It's just something to sit on my countertop and store things in. I've rolled it around the edge with the smaller jute. I've never really done it with this big jute, so we'll see how that works out. Should work out fine. I think it's going to be a little wider, but that's no big deal. See how I'm thinning the edges here? So that it tapers down. That way it shouldn't interfere too much. Almost got to comb it into place with the end of the gun. Okay, we'll let that cool and then we'll try it on the top. See if we want to do any more to it. Alrighty. I've got a gap right here. And I've kind of not necessarily left that open on purpose, but I've got an idea to make it look like more like it's a pile of rope. I actually want to continue this right here where it's split off, and then we're going to run it kind of array, like it's kind of like the rope is kind of hanging off the edge like that. That way it looks like the rope is, so you can find the end of the rope. I'll probably bring it around about half or 3/4 of the way around, and clip it off. It's taking a bit to cool, so I'll come back and show you afterwards. Alrighty, we got it all the way around. Now it looks like the end of the rope is sticking out. The only thing left to do is to get rid of all these frillies. And you know what that means. It's time for torch time. I'll be right back and we'll torch it up a little bit and I'll take it outside and finish it up. Trusty torch is back. I'll do a little bit of the lid and then I'll finish it off. I'll come back and show you when I got it all torched up. All de-stringed. There we go. I got a lid for it. Looks like the rope's going around it. The lid doesn't secure down, snap in place, but like I said, it's just something to set the lid on. Just something a little different out there. The area that I'm putting this in, I'm going to make it look different than anybody else's out there. So this is a start to it. I won't spoil the surprise. Thank you for watching. Subscribe to see further content. Leave me a comment. Let me know what you think. And like the video. See you all next time.